Alright, so we're going to go over the test review. Ian, what'd you get for number 1?
A1.
We're looking at angle 3 and 8. So what type of angle pair are 3 and 8? Brooke, you want to help him out? Yeah. Alternate interior. Perfect. Ian, why don't you do number 2? Classify segment C and segment DG. Perpendicular, perfect. Ashley, what'd you got for number 3?
Angle BC parallel to AD.
So they're not angles, they're segments. So you write segment BC is parallel to, what was the second one? AD, perfect. Remember, this is the sign for parallel. On a test, you have to include this sign. When's your test? Tomorrow. Sophia S., what'd you get for number 4? 2 and 5, perfect. What's another example of corresponding angles? Alexis?
3 and 6.
Angle 3 and angle 6, perfect. Florencia, what's another pair?
1, 8.
Angle 1 and angle 8. Reese, what's the last pair?
Angles 4 and angle 7.
Angle 4 and angle 7. On a test, you only have to name one, but on the homework, if you put any of those, it'd be right. Yes?
For number 3, can also be DF and AG.
Yes, it can also be DF and AG. Any questions on the first page? Sarah?
Number 3, like I put A, B, and C.
Yes, that'd be fine too. But just look for where the arrows are. So BC is parallel to AD and GF. So if you put any combination of those 3, you'd be right. And then you could also include AG and DF. Any other questions? Next page. What is the value of x? Ariana, what'd you get for number 5?
X equals 33 1/3.
How'd you get that?
So I typed in 2x equals 100 minus 5.
Perfect. So these two are alternate exterior angles, and alternate exterior angles are congruent, so we would set them equal to each other. And then we just solve for x. So we get x is equal to 33.3. On the test, there'll be whole numbers, so you won't have to use a calculator. Yes?
Do we have to put the degree sign?
No, because when you're finding x for this one, you're not finding like x degrees, you're just finding the variable x. If it's asking you for the angle, then yes, you'd have to put the degree sign. Nickleen, what equation did you set up for number 6?
5x plus 60 equals 180.
That's actually a 3x. It kind of looks like a 5, but it's supposed to be a 3. So 3x plus 60 is equal to 180. Because these are same side interior, so they are supplementary. So we add them and set them equal to 180. So we subtract 60.
Oh, that's 3x?
Yeah,
I did 5.
it's okay. As long as you added the 2 and set them equal to 180.
Okay.
So we get 3x is equal to 120. X is equal to 40. Alexis.
So it doesn't matter if we do 6, 3, or 5.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you understand the concept. Yes?
So same side interior is the only one where you make it equal to 180?
So same side interior is the only one that they are supplementary. So you add them and set them equal to 180. Yes? It was supposed to be a 3, but if you put 5, you would get 5x plus 60 is equal to 180. And then do the same thing. So you get 5x is equal to 120. And then you would get x is equal to 24.
It's 24.
24. Yes.
The question says just find x.
That's all we do. We just find x. That's it.
So we don't have to do it. What do you just do?
Well, some people said that they thought this was a 5, so I did it
Oh.
as if it were a 5.
Oh,
Okay, number 7 says find angle ABC. Florencia, what equation did you get for this one?
I put x minus 50 equals 4x.
Perfect. So then we solve for x. So we can subtract x from both sides. So we get negative 50 is equal to 3x. Divide by 3. And we can just leave it as negative 50 over 3 is equal to x. And then if we look back on the question, it says find angle ABC. So we need to take what we found for x and plug it back in to find angle ABC. So for this one, we would do 4 times negative 50 over 3. We would get negative 200 over 3. Dylan, what'd you get for number 8?
I got x equals 50.
X equals 50. Because these two are same side interior, so they add to equal 180. Perfect. So x is equal to 50. Yes.
I'm confused. I got 150. So what I did was I put x plus 130 equals 130.
So then 180 minus 130 is what?
150.
If we take 180 and subtract 130, we get 50. So you just messed up on the math a little bit.
Yeah.
But you had the right idea. You add the 2 and set them equal to 180.
Yeah.
Amanda, what did you get for 9? X is equal to 80. Perfect. If we look at this, we know that these two angles are not congruent, so therefore they must be supplementary. Another way to look at it is if this is a straight line, this angle has to be 80 degrees, and then you have alternate interior angles, so then X has to be equal to 80. Yes.
So that, like, the outside ones are the inside ones are?
Well, if you had alternate exterior angles, so if you were looking at this angle and this one, they would be congruent.
Okay, so not like the two sides, not like this one.
Well, these two aren't corresponding.
You know what I mean, place.
But, okay, so I know what you're talking about. But these angles, 100 and X, they're not same side interior, they're not same side exterior, they're not corresponding, and they're not alternate interior exterior. So we don't know what the relationship between the two is, but we do know that since this is a straight line, the angle to the right of 100 will be 80, and then we have this angle here and this one here are same side, or they're alternate interior angles, and we know that alternate interior angles are equal, so we can say x is equal to 180. So this one just took one extra step to figure it out. Any questions on anything on this page, 5 through 9? Alexis.
Okay, so number 9, I got kind of concerned because since it's just the x and 100, don't you have to just put x equals 100? I got confused.
Okay, so what I was saying to Sarah was that we don't know what the relationship between this angle here and this one here are. They're not corresponding angles, so we don't know if they're congruent or not. So we need to find an angle that would be congruent to x, which would be the same side interior angle, which is this one. So in order to find this angle here, the yellow one, we know that this is a straight line, so it would be 80, because two angles on the same line add up to 180. So the yellow angle would then be 80. So since this is x is alternate interior, they would be congruent. So that's how we get x is equal to 80. Any other questions? Dylan, what inequality did you get for 10?
I got x is greater than 4.5.
What was the whole inequality that you got?
2x plus 7 is greater than 16.
2x plus 7 is greater than 16. Perfect. So then you just solved for x. You get 2x is greater than 9. So x is greater than 4.5. Sarah. So the side that's perpendicular is going to be less than. So if you just start out with the side that's perpendicular, you would get 16 is less than the other side, which is 2x plus 7. Sarah, what'd you get for 11? You want to try it again? Yeah, so we know that this side here, the one that's perpendicular, is going to be less than. So 4x will be less than 26 plus 3x. So the perpendicular side is always going to be less than the other side. And then we can just solve for x. So you get x is less than 26. For 12, we know that to find the slope, we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's our y2? 2 minus y1, negative 4, over 3 minus 0. So you get 6 over 3, which simplifies to 2. So our slope is 2. Raul, what's the slope of a horizontal line?
0.
Perfect. What's the slope of a vertical line? Undefined. A lot of people for 14 put that the slope was also 0, but that would be wrong. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. If you have a horizontal line, the slope is 0, and if you have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. Any questions on this page? 10 through 14. No questions? Let's move on. Peter, what'd you get for 15?
4 over 3.
Peter says 4 over 3. Let's see. We can make a triangle here. And we go up 1, 2, 3. So our rise would be 3. And our run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The formula for slope would be rise over run. So what's our rise? 3. And what's our run? 4. So the slope would be 3 over 4. Given points A, B, C, and D, what types of lines are A, B, and C, D? Parallel, perpendicular, or neither? First step, let's find the slope of line AB. So we do y2 minus y1. So we have negative 1 minus 2 over negative 1 minus 0. We get negative 3 over negative 1, which simplifies to positive 3. Now let's find the slope of CD. y2 would be 3 minus y1, which is 1, over x2, negative 3, minus x1, which is 3. So we get 2 over negative 6, which simplifies to negative 1/3. So we have a line with the slope of 3 and a line with the slope of negative 1/3. Would these two lines be parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Perpendicular. Because these two are opposite reciprocals. So when you have two that are opposite reciprocals, they are perpendicular. If we multiplied these two slopes together, 3 times negative 1 over 3, what do we get? Negative 1. Remember when we said if we multiply the two slopes and we get negative 1, then they are perpendicular. Sam. What is the slope of a line parallel to the graph of 4x minus 8y is equal to 16? Gabby, what do we do first?
For 16?
Yes, for 17.
Oh, so I did 4x equals, 4x minus 8y equals 16, and I subtracted the 4x.
So you're putting it into slope-intercept form?
Mm-hmm.
So you get negative 8y is equal to negative 4x plus 16.
Then I divided the negative 8,
And you divide the negative 8.
and then I got y equals
1/2 x minus 2.
Perfect. What do we know about the slopes of lines that are parallel? They're the same. So what's the slope of this line here? 1/2. So we know that if a line is parallel to this line, what is the other slope? Because we're finding the slope of a line parallel to this line that we have. So what would be the slope of a line parallel to this line? 1/2. What is an equation of the line in the graph? There's two equations we could write. We could write point slope, an equation in point slope form, or we could write an equation in slope-intercept form. We have here the y-intercept, which is 4. So let's write the equation in slope-intercept form. Alexis, what's your question?
No, I was just gonna say the end.
Okay, give me 1 second, then you can say it. What did you get for the slope of this one?
2/3.
So you go up 2, and then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is this line increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing. Remember, we go from left to right, just like how we read. So from left to right, this is going down. So it's decreasing. So therefore, the slope has to be negative. So our line would be y is equal to negative 2/5 x plus 4. Any questions on anything from this page, 15 through 18? No questions? Sam? So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So where does this line cross the y-axis? At 0, 4. So it crosses at 4. Alexis, do you have a question?
Yeah. For 17.
Mm-hmm.
If a line is parallel, then it has the same slope, right?
Yes.
So like, I assume that the slope is 4, but now you're saying that the slope is 1/2. Now I'm confused.
So how did you get 4? So when we put this into slope-intercept form, we get y is equal to mx plus b. So our m is this 1/2. So the slope, once we reorganize this equation into slope-intercept form, we get the slope to be 1/2. So you're right that the slope, when the lines are parallel, the slopes are going to be the same. So the same as 1/2 would be 1/2. So that's why it's 1/2. Any other questions from this page? Ian, you have a question? No? Okay. Ready to move on? Ian, what'd you get for 19? Write the equation of the line with slope negative 2/3 through the point negative 4, 2 in point slope form. X minus, what's our x1? x plus 4. Because this is our x1, this is our y1. So the x1 goes here, but remember the equation is minus x1, so we have to change the sign. So minus negative 4 would be plus 4. Good job. Determine whether the lines 3x plus 5y equals 2 and 3x plus 6 is equal to negative 5y are parallel, intersect, or coincide. So when we have two lines and we're trying to determine if they're parallel, intersect, or coincide, we need to put the two lines in slope-intercept form. So for the first line, we subtract 3 from both sides, so we get 5y is equal to negative 3x plus 2, and then we divide 5. So you get y is equal to negative 3x over 5 plus 2 over 5. Yes. So this is slope-intercept form for the first equation. Let's look at the second one. We just divide negative 5. So we have y is equal to negative 3 over 5x minus 6 over 5. So what is our slope for the red line? This one. Negative 3 over 5. And what's our slope for the blue line? Negative 3 over 5. Are these the same? Yes. So would the lines be parallel, intersect, or coincide? Parallel. So when the slopes are the same but the y-intercepts are different, the lines are parallel. Alright, 21. Write the equation of the line through 6, 2 and negative 1, 3 in slope-intercept form. So in slope-intercept form, what do we need? The slope and the intercept, the y-intercept. So let's find the slope first. We have y2, which is 3, minus y1, 2, over x2, negative 1, minus x1, 6. And we get 1 over negative 7. So that's our slope. Now I need to find the y-intercept. So slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. We found our m, so we can plug this in. So we have y is equal to negative 1 over 7 x plus b. How do we find b? Yes. So we plug in one of the ordered pairs for x and y. So if we just take the first one, y is equal to 2. So 2 is equal to negative 1 over 7, x is 6. So multiply 6 plus b. And we get 2 is equal to negative 6 over 7 plus b. And then we add 6 over 7 to both sides. And we get, so 2 plus 6 over 7 would be 20 over 7. Again, you're not going to have problems like this on the test. It'll be nice numbers. And then your equation will be y is equal to negative 1 over 7 x plus 20 over 7. So this is the answer for 21. Yes.
So to find the y-intercept, we just plug in one of the coordinates.
So to find the y-intercept, just plug in one of the coordinates.
The y coordinate into y and then x1 into x.
Right, the y coordinate into y and the x into x. And you could pick either one, so you could pick the first coordinate, this one, or the second, and you'd get the same answer for b.